And we see more sargassum again. And small scattered rocks over sediment.
Okay, way forward is 257.
Okay.
We're at
D2, so we'll go
3,405 meters.
30 meters.
Copy.
Yeah, I have you at 45 on my screen right now.
Thanks.
Decimal 2. Bridge, ROV nav. Hello, bridge. Can I please get a ship move of 30 meters, bearing 255 degrees, 0.2 knots? Good copy, bridge. Thank you.
I hear them talking back there, but I can't hear their voice.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Might be muted. Okay.
They're not talking on OKEX either. Watch lead nav, you may want to check your mic. You might be muted. Thank you, bridge. Move us in.
The area we're looking at is sort of characteristic of what we've seen so far. If you're just joining us, a broad, flat, sediment-covered landscape with rock rubble that has likely been moved all over this area from very strong currents. We've seen a lot of evidence of strong currents, and with occasional outcrops of rock that appear to still be attached to what is probably the underlying rock substrate just beneath this sandy, sediment, muddy veneer. We've seen some larger rocks poking out that definitely were layered. So these are sedimentary rocks. If you followed any of the Pacific dives, a lot of those rocks were volcanic in nature, but these
feel
are
free to tilt up to get me.
sedimentary rocks
you don't
from
need to keep it right
long
at 45.
periods of slow and steady deposition of material through the water, much of which comes from the surface waters, from living organisms that generate shells, and when the organisms die, their shells fall to the seafloor and become part of the sediment record that geologists like to
you want to start coming in on this fish as it comes middle view?
There's a great fish, similar to one we saw earlier.
Come on in. Just to get him partial so he doesn't spook before we get close.
And that was Coryphaenoides rat tail that we saw earlier. I don't know if this is the same one or not. Same species. We'll get a nice close-up zoom. And
oh, can we kill lasers? That's good with the lasers. Co-pilot. Sorry.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
You have to hold the button down a little bit.
Yeah. Lasers off.
Thank you.
One nice thing about these abyssal fish species is that they don't swim away as fast. It allows us to get a much better view of them.
It's really surprising since they don't see light And here maybe they're mesmerized or hypnotized by the light, sort of a deer in the headlight.
I bet you that happens.
Yeah. I would think it would scare them away instead.
Next video. Swimming out of reach at this point.
Yeah, you always wonder what is lurking about just outside our field of vision here. What's outside of the light arc?
Who's watching?
Who's watching? And yeah, a way to try to figure out the difference is to leave some kind of landers on the seafloor that have infrared lighting, or take snapshots where the animals would just be surprised. They wouldn't see this light all the time.
Nav, what time was that move called in?
15:39.
All right, thank you.
Watch lead pilot. Okay, we had the after lunch watch change. Sitting pilot now is Jeffrey Lanning, and to my left,
Bobby Moore in navigator.
And to his right, Lars Murphy is co-pilot.
All the way over tucked in the corner, Bob not on video.
And in the back row, Annie White clipping. And we're all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
Lars, when we're doing intros, make sure you talk on OKEX, so that you pick up both channels.
In the back row,
And then,
this
take
is
it off
Leslie
right away.
Sauter with the College of Charleston. I'm the marine geology lead.
And this is Cheryl Morrison, the biology watch lead, and I'm from the USGS, Leetown Science Center.
And this is Stephanie Bush from the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History.
Bobby, do we
We
expect
also
any
have a
dramatic
nice group of
features?
people in the chat room, and they're all being very helpful
We
to
can just
us.
keep them
We
compounding
have
for a little while, 2 or 3 in a row, I don't mind. Or a big one if you
Adrian
want,
Copeland.
whatever's best.
Yeah, let's
Amanda
take this time to
Demopoulos, Andy O'Brien,
look at our
Charles
path
Messing.
forward.
Enrique Salgado,
At top, we're
Frank Tamara, or is that Tamara Frank, I imagine?
the nearest, or the top contour is 3370. So
We
another
have,
30 meters, nothing
George
drastic.
Matsumoto. Thank you.
Near the
Heather
nearest
Jenkins,
point around
James Murphy,
yeah, it's
Jason Chater,
3370.
Jill Bork,
Here's 3300 way over here.
Lauren
And that's to the
Wallen,
south.
Les Watling, Megan
That's
Culler,
more west
Mike Vecchione,
over here.
Nicole
So
Morgan,
Gotcha.
bridge is heading this way.
Robert Carney,
Which way is the
Sandra
surface
Brook,
current and the wind?
Santiago
coming
Herrera,
from?
Scott Harris,
Earlier it was down here.
and Steve Oshkovitz from
I'm
the Cordes
Still
Lab,
working on checking that. I'm just trying to figure out our.
Tara Luke,
There's the
and
current
Tina.
story.
I'll let you say Tina's last name since you did so well with that yesterday, Leslie. Great.
So we're likely going to get
Molodtsova, I hope.
blown away.
Wind is going to push us south. Current should push us
And Tom
south as well.
Hitchik,
Oh, wind's going to push us south. Oh, the ship's pointing north. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
and Zach Prow.
So we're going to get pushed south.
Yep.
Thank you all very much for
And
joining
the
us
current's
today.
pushing me out towards the west down
And
here.
it's Tom Hands Connect.
So we're actually
Oh, great.
We
just
just
have to
learned
come up.
how to
let
pronounce
serial
his name.
spin
Thank
out.
you, Tom.
Something was to happen.
Coming up would be the best thing here because it's so shallow, or the elevation is so little.
Yeah.
Move is complete. Add another.
Yeah, I'm still
One
well
of the
stretched
reasons
out.
we
I mean, I'm not going to feel
selected
it for another
this
2 minutes.
completely
So,
unexplored
keep
part
going.
of the sea
We'll add
floor
another
was
30.
that
Make it.
in doing our mapping using multi-beam sonar,
Give it
this
5 minutes.
area
Then I'll
had
preemptively add another one at
was
point
an
1.
area of very
Nice
strong,
slow move. That one was a little bit
high
faster.
intensity return of the acoustic signal. So we send
Copy
out a
bridge on
sound
that
beam,
last.
sound pulse, bounces off the seafloor. It records the depth for us, and then it also returns the strength of its signal to our receiver.
Roger, bridge. Yeah, you're
And
correct.
we've
I'm
learned
going to
from
hold off
lots
on
of
the
experience
next
that
move.
the stronger the signal in cases or situations where we have broad areas like this, the higher intensity of the return often indicates a rock surface as opposed to a sediment surface. This entire region, well beyond
So if we
where
come
we can
across a
dive
situation,
today,
the plan
is
is to
an
just
area of
rise.
unusually
Begin to
high
ascend.
backscatter return. We call
Yeah,
that
so we only
signal a
have
backscatter
The
signal.
tallest point nearby is
And
3370.
so we were
So
expecting
if we
to
can
find
get 30 meters
a
or
little
past
more
that
rock
point,
exposed
we're in very
than
safe
what we're seeing
condition.
today.
Your
But
easiest
that
maneuver,
acoustic
'cause
signal
we're
does
definitely gonna get blown
penetrate just a
south.
little bit into
The
the
wind is
sediments,
off
not
to our
very
port
far.
bow.
So it's
is
likely
about
that
straight
signal
ahead
is
as well.
actually bouncing off
So
some
we're going to get
underlying
pushed
rocks.
south, which means
We don't know.
you
We
would want
can't
to come
dig
up
away to see what lies below here, but
and
we are seeing some
turn
large
to port.
blocks of very
That'd be the
lithified,
quickest way to get
very
your
solid
tail
rocks that are
facing
outcropping
D2,
at the
and
surface.
D2
We've
is gonna kinda
encountered
go
4 or 5
this way,
areas of
go
that so far.
north and
So
west
we're hoping
if
to
you're
find
looking
more
at
of
the map.
those because
Either
wherever
on
they
his
do
own or
appear,
the
we
ship's moving
see
quickly enough, he's gonna
abundances of
kinda weather
sponges,
vane
and
out
I
that
can see
direction,
some white
so
dots in the
bringing your
distance
heading
that might
around
indicate
like this,
sponges that might
pointing
indicate
towards
rocks.
the east is going to line you up
So
very
maybe
quickly
we'll head over there.
in the direction that D2 is going to get weather vaned.
Got
Maybe
that.
not.
And like
Being
15
hopeful.
meters per minute, 30 meters per minute.
Pilot will call on that
That's speed.
based on what he's doing.
Got that. Do you want me to spin a little bit, pilot?
In the
to get you in
meantime,
view?
we had
Yeah,
a
they're hoping, I think,
question
look at
from
this
ashore
here.
from Tyler
Coming around a little
Kronsbush.
bit.
And this is what it says.
I don't know
This
if I've got
question
the
could
space
apply
to go
to
out
almost
there. It doesn't
anybody on
look like I
board.
do.
We always talk about favorites, but
Go ahead, watch lead.
we all know there's always something that has to balance out. So what's everybody's least favorite task while on
Yeah, we're
cruise?
going to zoom from here. It's a little out of reach right now,
I'd
but
have
we can head that way if
trouble
it's
with the
we
deck
want to
position
see.
doing self
Video,
checks.
come on
It
in.
seems like the pilot does a
Something we
maneuver
wanna
and deck interprets it
take
as
a longer look at.
confirmation. I'd be very paranoid of getting that correct. It's like a morning pop quiz. So I don't know if any of the pilots, it seems to be, that example seems to be directed more to the ROV ops. Anybody have least favorite tasks?
How sad. The
I
bright
was
white
listening
was a
it
can.
in there, watch lead. I'm talking on OKEX as well. The morning checks aren't actually as stressful as they might sound. We have, more than just the person on deck telling us which way the thrusters go and other devices. The visuals down there are more just a confirmation of what we already see up here based on our GUIs, our cameras, etc.
Video, that's good, I think.
So the deck checks in the morning actually aren't all that bad.
So Bobby, what would be your least favorite task?
Least favorite?
Everything we do is so great.
It is actually hard. I was gonna, take the easy route and say not being on watch, because then you're trying to fill your time with other work or documentation. But as far as actual watches go, I would say winch rounds are probably the most inconvenient, especially when we're in the water column. We do our winch rounds every 30 minutes, so it's hard to get a break to go work out, eat a meal, do a project on the vehicles, because every half hour you have to pull away and go look at the winch.
Oh, that's interesting. Never had that perspective before. And so, just so everybody knows, on shore, what is the winch for?
I've come around quite a bit to keep you in view.
Okay.
I'm looking at like one.
Well, the winch is
All right, I'll push out, get you.
the winch
Get lined
is
up
what
closer to
controls Sirius. Sirius only has two
Track.
thrusters to control its heading. Has no way to control its altitude off the bottom or its depth. And that's all controlled by the winch. The winch has all 7 kilometers of cable wrapped on it. So it's a very vital system for these operations. And so we always keep a good eye on it.
Do you mind turning the iris down a little bit?
We have to go around, do a bunch of rounds, make sure all values are within spec, that we don't hear any noises that we shouldn't, the cable's not scraping on any safety plates or anything like that. But the winch is a very, very important piece. It's one of the few that could be considered a single point failure for our system. And by that I mean many systems we have spares or a backup system. If the winch fails, knock on wood that it doesn't, there's no spare winch that we can flip to. So it's a very important piece.
And Bobby, could you explain how large the winch is?
7-foot diameter storage drum?
Yeah, the storage drum that holds the cable is 7 feet in diameter. The winch itself, 20 feet by 10. I mean, it's a big system. It's made up of the traction winch, which actually controls the tension in the system, and then the large storage winch. I don't know if you can... You here in the control room can see the 2 monitors there over on the far right side. The bottom one is the storage winch, and the top one is kind of a different angle that shows the traction winch on the left side and the storage winch on the right. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's a very important part of this whole system, but it does sound like it would be tedious to babysit it all day.
Well, again, the checks themselves aren't too bad. It's the, constantly getting pulled away from whatever task you're on to go do a winch check.
Plus it's pretty important, and if you forget, bad things can happen.
Yeah. And it's very loud down there. It's right by the, I should also note that it's right next to the winch hydraulics, the ship hydraulics, and the bow thrusters. So it's very, very noisy in that room. It's very hot, stern thruster. And it's very hot, noisy, and uncomfortable down there.
Wow.
Thanks so much, Bobby.
Well, thank you.
It's always good to hear from.
Thank you, Tyler, for the great questions.
Yeah.
I know he provided a couple last cruise, so keep them coming.
So I just had a chat room connection from Les Watling, and he is noting that the temperature is 2.2 degrees C, and the salinity is 34.8
So you got another move in or no?
parts per thousand, or practical salinity units.
Again if you want.
And it puts those measurements define a different water mass than I expected. Actually, this is great.
Yes, can we repeat that move, please? 30 meters.
Of the North Atlantic
bearing
deep water,
255 at
which
0.2.
originates in the North Atlantic and the Labrador Sea and the Norwegian Sea, and it combines, and its density, due to being a salty, cold water, chills at the surface, and its density increases, so it sinks and starts flowing southward, and it keeps flowing because more dense water sinks up in the north, so it keeps pushing from the north and pushing that dense bottom water mass towards the south, and that's referred to as the North Atlantic deep water. Around here, it encounters the same type of current that actually forms in the Weddell Sea of Antarctica.
Copy, Bridge, thank you.
And that is known as the Antarctic bottom water. And that particular bottom water mass sinks off of Antarctica and flows northward. And at some point, those two water masses converge, and based on the temperature and salinity that Les noted from our sensors here, we are right at that interface of where those two water masses join, and the more dense of the two water masses, which is the Antarctic bottom water, flows beneath the North Atlantic deep water. So
transects.
The NADW, North Atlantic deep water, has been traveling on the seafloor itself, and then once it is encountering the Antarctic bottom water, begins to rise up. And so I'm guessing from what Les is saying that we are at the water depths where it is rising, so we're very close. And because of our salinities, actually says that it's closer to 34.9 parts per thousand, or practical salinity units. We are situated more likely in the North Atlantic deep water. So earlier we were talking about the western boundary undercurrent, which may influence this area, but we are also in the flow on the bottom of the North Atlantic deep water. I've been teaching about the North Atlantic deep water for I don't know how long, and so I can now say I've been there. That's wonderful. Thanks for pointing that out, Les. We've been finding these rocks that are poking out of the sediments, some of which are rubble that have been moved around by the swiftly flowing currents of the area. Earlier we saw some very large rocks that were certainly still in place or in situ, and I'm hoping that this rock on the middle right side of the screen is one of those, so maybe we can look around to that. And Jason Chater of the USGS says that based on nearby ocean drilling program hole and projecting it out to the dive site here, these rocks could be early to late Pliocene to upper Miocene clay stones. So, and by clay, we are talking about a size fraction. It's very, very fine material. And here, in this case, Jason is suggesting that these are from microfossil clay-sized particles. These are nanofossils that are calcareous in composition, calcium carbonate, same material as we find in limestones, but they also may have diatoms, which are microscopic silica-bearing organisms. And both of those organisms, both nanoplankton, calcareous nanoplankton, which would be the coccolithophora, and the diatoms are photosynthetic algae, and they each secrete hard part remains that when they die eventually make their way to the seafloor and deposit. So these are considered, if that is in fact what these rocks are composed of, these would be biogenic rocks. They are formed from the deposition and slow accumulation and ultimately burial and being lithified into rock of these microfossil particles.
Go ahead.
Leslie, I think I'm seeing
let me get a little closer.
Stick-like bryozoan colonies.
Yes,
we just asked the pilot to stop and zoom, and we will, if it is
Copy,
that,
bridge,
we'll
move complete.
make a collection.
Yeah, well, so I think if it's really small, that particular one is going to be really hard to collect. So what I was going to suggest is if we could just sort of look around if there's any loose rock. I think especially given the orientation of that one on its side, you're not going to be able to scoop that with the manipulator arm. But if there's one on a rock that's loose, that would be a good target.
Okay, we'll take a look.
I'm not convinced that all these loose rubble rocks that we're seeing are of the same composition as this slab of maybe this limestone type of rock. They look very different and have probably been transported from another site. So
Okay, come on in.
it's still worth getting a rock for sure. I'm not arguing.
Yeah, I guess in this case the collection would be a biological collection with a rock.
With a rock, and that works for me. So,
You got any more?
Cheryl's just stepped out to go to lunch. So if you see something, Scott, just you can direct us to it.
I'll keep an eye out, and I think I'm just going to check it. But
Oh,
I think
thought it was
some
the
of
white.
these,
Sorry.
kind of like the pineapple-like sponges, may also be a collection target. They may be the geodia. I'm going to check on that.
You know, there may be a chance of getting that bryozoan if we zoom in. Maybe we can see it. It almost looks like it's.
Is that the bright white one in the background there? This here is what you're talking about?
Now, what about the one that's left corner, sticking up just above a sponge?
Could you describe
upright,
the object
just
we're
at the
looking
top of the
for?
screen now.
Do you want me to?
Scott, you'll need to describe a little better to those of us here which one you're looking
Remember, I
for.
have like a 7-second delay.
Oh,
If we
that's
just
right,
finished
yeah.
at 1, we still got about
Back out.
So are
7
you,
more minutes of
Now
movement.
I see
I'd say
there's
bring it back a little bit.
let's see, you're turning to the left.
Are we going to stop
Where
here
does
for
it
a
go?
collection?
It might
most
still be
likely?
a little farther to the
Yeah,
left.
I'd say bring it back.
We're looking for a
Is that
bright
all going
white
right over the
stick.
top
stick?
of you?
Okay. I thought that was in the
What do you think,
foreground.
I think he's going to be
Pull
just
back
fine.
out, excuse me. Pull out, zoom in.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's center screen to the left. Looks like a long, fuzzy pencil.
Long fuzzy pencil, that helps.
Yeah, yeah. Not that one. That's the one we kind of rejected. Is that... Do you want...
Upper left, all the way in the corner there?
It's right, just left of center.
Okay.
So just above the lasers, right in the center of the screen. Yep. Scott, is that the one you were?
This guy up here?
Yeah, I'm counting to 7 and waiting, but it looks like you're going there.
All right.
And it's just above like a ball-like sponge.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, you're zooming in.
Great.
So I thought because of its orientation,
Sure.
that might be better, but hang on. Let's make sure that's the bryozoan.
That doesn't look like a bryozoan, though. But there are some others. There's a stalk to the left on the darker rock.
Yeah, so what we're looking at, the larger one, that's an octocoral.
Yeah.
Maybe that smaller one to the left. But again, it's so leaned over, I don't know that we can pick that up.
But maybe we can grab the rock.
If you think it's loose.
So where was the original one that they were talking about? Just to make sure we can't actually grab it.
Straight below. Yeah, right. I think it was right in the center of the screen. On
This
the,
down
now.
here?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah, I see it.
I think we should
now that
try
I know
for
what I'm
that.
looking for, I can more easily. I thought we were looking at a sponge. I was trying to figure it out. Sorry about that. This guy. That's what he's talking about. I see. And it is on a cemented rock. See what he's talking about. Well, if this is...
If it's like the rock yesterday, it'll still come up.
So as you're getting closer here, yeah, you're already doing it.
So that's definitely the one. So
Come up a little bit.
Yeah, it's, as you get a little closer.
We could test the
come up
rock
some
out.
just as you're doing.
Do we know if the coral itself tends to be brittle or... Yeah. Well, okay.
You can go ahead and start getting hydraulics ramped up.
Yeah, with that.
It is fragile, so if I try to sneak my fingers underneath, it might break on us. Is that what I understand? Okay. Well, the way the current's whipping today, I'm not sure we're going to find one standing up proud. But possibly. I'll poke this rock, and that'll at least give us something. Thanks. Yeah, but I'm realizing now that we're zoomed out, I'm a little far away. Let me just sneak in a little closer. All right, are we spun up?
Yes, and port valve back.
No, we don't need a valve pack on. We just need the...
We're spun up then.
Great. Awesome.
You're
You can give me the full pressure.
Full.
Yeah.
And you,
Right, you're all the way full.
as you keep coming closer here, let's keep increasing your altitude.
Yep. I got a Z bias at 12 right now. What do you think? 15 would be?
It's looking
Z
like
by-
Megan
or
McCullers
Delta
is
Z.
very excited
Delta
about
Z,
this
excuse me.
potential
Yeah, just
for collecting
increase it a little more.
bryozoans. We're doing our best. It's so tiny.
You're doing that because remember you have 30 meters of tether between you, so,
So
it's
we're
gotta
going to
go
try to
somewhere, so
nudge
as
the
you come up,
rock
kinda
and
just
break
help
it,
stretch
and then
just a
try
little,
not to break
Copy
the
that.
so the
bryozoan.
loops don't go where they
Apparently it's
shouldn't.
fragile. This is great.
The rock is loose.
So this is probably going to have to go in a bio box. So check your, go ahead and start checking your pins. You know, draw in, you know, retract both pins, etc.
Just trying to figure out the best place to grab this rock without...
Maybe rotate 180 on your jaw. So you get the big teeth on each side of it. You'll need to ask, I'll ask Pilot about that.
I mean, we could try the scoop. It has had some success, but it has also had a lot of failures. We can give it a whirl. I don't know.
I think we'll have much...
So if this rock is firm, this is going to be the best way. If we expect this rock to be squishy, like to crumble apart, I mean, then the scoop might be better. Do you have any idea of how this will act, this rock? They all crumbled.
I don't think you're going to get a good scoop with the surrounding rocks.
The pin should be extended or retracted? Should be extended, correct?
Extended, yeah.
Yeah, so the first step is retract both pins.
So we're
close the drawer.
communicating
make
with
sure
the
it's all the way
pilot
closed,
to
and
see
extend
what
the
might
pin
be the
for
best
for
method
the bio box that you want.
for collection.
And that
We
way
have
you
the
know
option
only
of
the
a
one
scoop,
box will
but
open.
they don't think that that would
Copy that.
be viable in this situation. So we're going to, I have great faith in them. This is the first specimen, yes. That is some delicate skill. Megan's holding her breath.
Can we come out wide, or are we already out wide? Great, thank you. Okay, you can start opening the drawer.
This is a
Drawer
twofer.
is extending.
You get a rock and a bryozoan.
Is that full?
No, it looked like we were going to hit that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we were pushing.
So if you haven't watched our sampling collection procedure, this platform includes 2 bio boxes, 1 on each side. And each of those bio boxes has a
Okay. Ready to retract the drawer?
segment
Sample is marked.
dividing
Drawer is
container
retracted.
to it. And so now it is sealed up. Excellent.
Retracting
Great
the
job,
pins.
pilot. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. I'm just as relieved as you are.
Fantastic. Nice touch there, pilots.
Anything else in the immediate vicinity before we take off? To the right here? Well, I can just nudge it real quick.
Watch lead, nav. Want to confirm, are we marking that last specimen as a bio
You're still
or a
ramped
geo?
up. They're ready to go.
Great.
Roger that. So spec 01 bio.
And I'm looking down at you at 87 right now, and I haven't moved in a while, so we should be pretty good here.
Great.
That would be port inner.
I've just asked the pilot to see if he could do some wonders with one of the rocks that seems to be more representative of what I believe is what underlies the sediments here.
The one closest to us is certainly solid.
Uh-huh.
And the one
Oh,
farther
yeah.
away moved the vehicle.
Okay. Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just keep moving on then.
Go ahead.
Arms off.
Stand by one.
Ramping down. Okay. Hydraulics are off. Or they're not ramped up.
Great. Take one sweeping look at the rest of this. Make sure there's no other representative rocks that we want, and then we'll take off. There's this one
Watch
here.
lead, we're about
to the
60
left.
meters into our second 100
Yeah,
meters.
let's maybe that slab that's just
below the lasers
below the
now.
lasers. Yeah, that looks more like what I'm seeking.
Yeah.
I am quite a bit over you now,
Okay.
and I'm looking down pretty much vertical.
Roger. There's nothing out,
Watch
out
lead,
in front, right?
nav.
There's nothing out in front.
Okay. Let's
Nice
get a
solid
spun
real
up
light.
again.
Yep. Okay.
We're about 60 meters in. to that second 100-meter transect.
You were spun up.
And I also want to let you know that we have about 2 hours left on bottom before we have to come up and start midwater transects. So we need to, consider our way forward. Roger that.
That didn't seem to move, but I'll give it another little nudge here. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, you can definitely tell the difference between the rubble and what we call the in situ rock, the in-place rock, and that seems to be part of it. We're going to start cruising a little beyond this spot. We've got some distance to go. We've got about...
If you guys are okay, I'm going to start the bridge on a 0.1, 30 meters.
Only 2 more hours on bottom before we lift off for the midwater
transect. By the time Sirius is moving, I'll get out.
Yep.
So we may not stop as often.
Bridge, are we now? Yes, can we repeat that last move, please?
The chat room folks to let us know if you see something
255 degrees,
specific that you want us to look at.
boogie.
And to certainly if you see something we need to examine in detail and collect, we will happily do that. But we would like to cover a little more ground. The current has slowed us a little bit.
Just the interesting coral and rocks have slowed us.
Okay, I'm going to come up a little bit as you come underneath me, and then I'll drop back down as you get further out.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Good copy. Move is in.
Just making sure this is more of the same.
I'm going to go ahead and follow you up.
Okay.
The camera.
Sounds good. Yeah. More of the same. I'll keep rocking.
Our Paros, or at least D2s, is reading about 20 meters deeper than USBL.
Interesting.
She's got a little bit of get up and go, huh?
Like peeling out in the dirt driveway.
So to those of you on the chat room, we really encourage you to phone in and talk to us. This is not a 2-person, 3-person show here, and we want certainly more. No offense, Scott France, but we certainly want more than Scott France. So don't feel intimidated at all. We want to hear from you. We
Sea Star.
love to have a dialogue. This is a community effort.
ID.
All right, so we've got a fish on the right, another rat tail, and we have a nice sea star. So let's take a quick look, please.
I'm pushed out pretty far from the ship at this point, so we have a little time.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 25 right there.
Let's just take... Oh, and the fish first. Although we've seen these fish several times,
You want
I think.
the fish first?
Yeah, it's always good to get a video clip.
There's our fish.
And he's... Oh, don't blind him.
I missed.
So again, these laser beams are 10 centimeters apart.
It's moving at us quick.
So he's not even a half meter long. It looks maybe a half meter long.
Kill those lasers.
Nice
Coming off.
shot though.
Laser are off.
Very nice. Maybe he'll take you right over to the sea star. Maybe not. I feel a dance video coming on.
All right, we can go find the sea star.
Yeah.
It's over this way somewhere. Come on out, video. Hopefully I didn't lose track of our sea star friend. Did some backing. Goes out this way.
These pathways we're looking at, we've seen quite often yesterday on the dive and today. These are likely to be heart urchin grazing tracks. Heart urchins are relatives of the sea urchins you might see on the seashore. And we've actually seen other urchins on the surface, and we found the shell of a heart urchin yesterday. But as they graze through the sediments, they leave that characteristic trail. We refer to those types of features, if they're preserved in the rock record, we refer to them as trace fossils. They are traces of an organism's behavior instead of the actual organism's hard part remains. So they give us an indication of who might have been living there, even if we don't find the remains.
I lost it.
Well, seems like our little sea star has found an alternative, or we have not found him. Kind of lost track of where he was. So we're going to continue along the track, hoping to find a few more large outcrops of rock. Earlier we've come across several in-place rocks instead of this loose rubble. And
yes,
they appear to be biogenic in origin.
Did you catch that on your manip?
Waiting for us.
I don't know.
Did you catch that on your manip? Nice.
He's on one of your coral. He's having a snack of a...
He's definitely munching. This will be great.
Rhizome snack or whatever. Whatever that coral was.
So one of the advantages of having video of these organisms is that instead of just having a still photo, we get to observe their behavior.
Come on in.
Not that he's too mobile right now, but it's a very interesting view. Is that one of the bryozoans? Oh my gosh. No, I can't tell. What's he feeding on? Can any of the chat room folks?
Must just be closed polyps.
That does look like it's feeding on the bryozoan.
I'm so sorry, Megan, to have you witness this.
The other possibility is that is a primnoid octocoral with the polyps very tightly contracted.
Yeah, it doesn't look... well, it looks different to me.
Earlier, we zoomed in on that stick, and we thought, at first I thought it was bryozoan, and when we got closer, we saw that it was an octocoral, and that was likely in the family Primnoidae. We do know that there are some unbranched primnoids from this depth in the North Atlantic, and this could be one of those, but all the polyps retracted and curled up against the skeleton, which wouldn't be surprising if put on. This particular sea star is known to feed on octocorals.
And Nolan Barrett, thanks for telling us. It looks like a Circeaster. We saw one of these yesterday, and I believe that genus has also been observed in the Gulf of Mexico.
Set to go when you are. Let's get lasers on the way out here.
Lasers coming on.
Just bring up bank 1 real quick, make sure they're on. Yeah, there they are.
Lasers are on.
Tom Hansconnect
Great.
suggested that those might be
I'm happy
those
when you are,
stick-like
video.
4Ams. I don't think I would agree with that, but we'll never know because I don't think we're going to get a sample of it. But
You
very
have
hard
another
to
fish
tell
coming in from
unless
your,
we had it in
from
hand.
your starboard side.
But thanks for all the
Another rat tail coming.
ideas.
Interesting nostrils. All right,
Go
going
ahead.
out video.
So waypoint 2, let me zoom out on high pack for you. Waypoint 2 is currently 250 meters away. Yeah. Copy, bridge. Move complete. So we're still waiting on the depths of our transects, but based on my estimates, we have about an hour and 15 minutes left on bottom. If we, with 250 meters left to get to the top, at our current speed, it will take 41 minutes. We should make it there. And Watch Lead, wanted to let you know we're right about our 100-meter mark. Thank you.
So Cheryl is back from lunch here. We're just checking in with Nav, and we have about an hour and 15 minutes left on the bottom, about 250 meters left to go to the top of this feature, and we will most likely make it to the top of the feature. But we also have just passed 100-meter mark again from the last. Was this
Bridge, ROV Nav. Yes, can we repeat that move, please?
We're currently at a depth of 3,390
That's right, good copy,
meters.
Bridge.
You're beginning to get a little stretched out, but I should be coming right up behind you here shortly.
Okay.
Thank you, Bridge.
Fish to your port. Another rat tail, looks like.
Hello, do we have some new people on the line?
This is Megan.
Oh, great, Megan, you were able to get in.
Yes, finally.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I figured if you see any more bryozoans, zoom in and I'll talk a little bit about them. I found it's kind of difficult to talk about them when they're not actually on the screen.
Right. Okay. Well, we will keep an eye out, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, it's probably too big. Anyways. Should I give it a skid nudge just in case?
Looks like we have a larger rock here, and maybe a couple of sponges growing on it. A brittle starfish behind it.
Let's give it a little tease. What's going on here? Nope. That was worth a look.
It looks like Shirley Pomponi might be online also. Shirley, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's great to hear you.
I understand it's a sponge-rich area that I just missed.
We've seen a lot of sponges today. And we have a couple of small sponges here, but it looks like in the distance we might have a larger rock. That looks promising.
It does look promising.
Yeah, it does. So it looks like on the center screen now, it looks like there might be some kind of spherical sponge as well. But yeah, that larger rock looks promising too.
Any idea what the spherical sponge might be?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We just passed over it. That might be one of those geodias that we're kind of interested in as well. But this,
You want me to follow you around and report?
The rocks we're heading towards look very interesting. They're covered with sponges too.
Yes, okay. We'll get a really good look at some of these sponges here.
Tighten up.
Yeah, I'm out here at the end, so it's just going to give us 1 second for Cirrus to catch up, and then we can play around a little bit. Plus, that's I see them. There's one right here, too. We can try for this one. Come on in real quick. Just see if these are octocorals or bryozoans. Octocoral, octocoral, octocoral.
It does look like an octocoral.
More of them. Scanning over.
Oh, and there's a nice sponge.
Is that a good one? Oops, a little dust. It'll blow away. There's plenty of
These are definitely octocorals. I think these are the primnoids that I was referring to earlier that the sea star may have been feeding on.
Put the current right on a weird spot.
I'll have to look it up. Less noted before. I think
We
it's
have a little room.
genus Paranorella or
Just gonna get myself set up a little better in the current now that I have some room to wiggle my tail.
Okay. So a similar depth range.
Check these stocks to see. Oops. Snap in real quick. Scanning left. Same thing. Okay, come on out. Alright, we're going to go over and check out some of these cool sponges.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Shirley, are there any particular sponges you'd like to look at first here?
That one that looks, that's the sponge we're coming up on, that's just up to the left of the laser dot.
Thank you.
The smaller one?
No, the big, what is that big thing right in the middle? The one that the laser dots are over right now.
Okay, we'll zoom in on that. How's that?
Move is complete.
I'm going to try and
Copy that.
pull up my screen.
Getting a little closer video. Yeah, I heard the request. We're going to get a little closer, settle in, and I'll get this orange sponge. Yep. Come on, video.
This is quite an interesting area. There are lots of different sponges over here. Oh, wow.
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 Beautiful.
Try the fog lights if you want on this.
And in fact, and this
Those
is
are the front
a
ones?
very fun
Yeah, the,
area.
I think it's probably the only lights not on.
Kind of looks more like a
Coming on.
hexagonal